In today's video, I have to survive 100 days as a furnace golem. And also, I have 3 objectives. First, build my very own village. Second, craft a diamond hammer. And finally, defeat the Ender Dragon. Can I survive these 100 days as a furnace golem in hardcore Minecraft? Keep watching and find out. So here we go, our journey begins on day 1, and the first thing I noticed, I spawned right outside this village. This was great, but before I went to go and explore the village, I wanted to get myself some wood. So I punched down a tree with my bare hands, collecting some wood, and then I decided to craft a wooden hammer. I'm going to be needing this. Anyways, it's time to explore the village, and I could see there was some sugarcane. I'm going to be needing this, so I collected a few pieces, and also stumbled across this farmer, and he was nice enough to give me some crops, so I collected myself a few carrots, some wheat seeds, and also a few potatoes. I made sure to thank the villager, and then I stumbled across a iron golem, so I said hi to him as well. But I figured it's about time we get some stone, so I found this villager's house, and I'm sure he won't mind if I could borrow some cobblestone. But sadly, it turns out to craft a stone hammer, I would need some normal stone. So I decided to head off and search for a cave. After a little bit of exploring, I could see there was this ravine, and I could see there was some iron, which was great. So I didn't hesitate, and I jumped down there and went to go get myself some stone and also some coal, and then crafted a furnace and cooked up a few bits of stone, and then crafted my very own stone hammer, and there it is. Anyways, I wanted to get myself some iron now, so I went around this ravine, collected myself a few bits of iron, but then I discovered there was another cave, and I could see I had this secret power, but it came with a cost. I could see my hunger was draining instantly, so I kind of ran out of food and I needed to get back to the village. So I made a way out the caves and headed back to the village. And yep, I could see there was loads of wheat here. This was great. So I gathered up all the wheat that I could and made some fresh bread. But I didn't want to use all the wheat for food. Oh no, I also wanted to trade with some of the villagers. So I did. Get myself a few emeralds. Very nice. But then I could see the sun was setting very quickly and I needed a place to sleep for the night. So I'm sure one of the villagers won't mind if I could take their house for the night. So I placed it in my yellow bed and went to sleep. But then on day 2, as I was smelling up some iron, I couldn't believe my very own eyes. A pillager outpost. This was not good. So I decided to craft some iron leggings, and I carefully made our way over, but I was spotted by some pillagers, so I used all my power that I could to take down these pillagers. But luckily for me, I was a furnace golem, and there was no match for me. Oh no, I was easily able to take them all down. But there was only one last thing to do. Set the place on fire, of course, so I used my special abilities to catch fire to this outpost. So I took down the remaining pillagers and I couldn't believe my very own eyes. There it was, an iron golem trapped. So I saved him, and me and the iron golem took down the remaining pillagers. And I have to say, they did not stand a chance. We easily took them all down. Anyways, after all that, I thought here looks like a perfect spot to build my very own base. This would be a temporary base, I wasn't going to live here forever. Just a place to get started. So I placed in a few fences, some oak logs, and of course some chests, so I could store some of my items. But as a furnace golem, you also get pretty hungry very quickly. So I decided to make a potato farm. So I placed in a few potatoes, and here it was, a potato farm. And here it is on day 5. It looks pretty nice. And off here we have our house, which looks okay. We got some nice oak fences right here, some oak planks, and of course we got all the essential stuff we need. But the most important place of all, the potato farm. Here it is. Looks pretty good. Anyways, later on that day, I decided to go on a little adventure. I wanted to see what I could find. And after a little bit of exploring, I could see there was this cave. I was very intrigued, so I jumped down into this cave, and I could see there was some copper. But then I was caught by surprise, and I could see there was also this axolotl. So I thought, why not keep this axolotl as my very own pet? And there it is. We now got a pet axolotl. And also, there was loads of copper in this cave, so I thought, why not get myself a few bits of copper? I would be needing this copper for my spyglass. But then, as I was making my way around the caves, there it was, diamonds. So I smelted up some iron and decided to go and craft the iron hammer. And the good thing was, I had enough materials, which was great. So I crafted the iron hammer and then got myself some diamonds. So I happily gathered up all the diamonds that I could and decided to go and craft myself a diamond pickaxe. I would need this diamond pickaxe to get myself some obsidian. So I kept searching through the caves, and finally I found some lava. So I placed down my water bucket and gathered up some obsidian. I'll need plenty of this for a full nether portal and of course the enchantment table. Finally got home on day 8. The first thing I did is I smelled up all the iron that I collected, and I got myself quite a lot of iron, which was quite nice. Anyways, it's time to to make a place for my axolotl. Here looks perfect. So I cleared out a massive space, removing all the dirt that was in the way, and then decorated the area up a little bit. Added some different kinds of stone to give it some nice detail, and then of course I filled it up with water as well. And finally on day 10 I placed in the axolotl, and I could tell the axolotl was very happy. And yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. We got a nice birch tree in the middle of this little island right here, and of course some flowers to give it some nice detail. Anyways, after that I decided to go and check up on my iron to see if it was all smelted up. It was. Very nice. So I crafted myself a chestplate, leggings, helmet, and of course some boots. I can't forget about tools as well, so I crafted myself a full set of iron tools, and that should be good. And there it is, we got a full set of iron armor and a fresh set of tools. But don't you guys think it is now time to make the nether portal? I think it is, so I placed in some coal, and of course the obsidian. And in theory, this should work. So I used my special abilities, and I couldn't believe my very own eyes. It worked. Wow. And you wouldn't believe it. As I got to the other side, I could see there was this bastion. But before I went to go and explore the bastion, I wanted to get myself some bones. You see, I'll need these for my potato farm. Finally, I make it over to the bastion, and I was able to find myself this chest, and I could see there was a bit of ancient debris. I'll be sure to take this. So I continue searching around the bastion, see if I could find anything else. And you wouldn't believe it, I found this chest, and I could see there was this diamond pickaxe with Fortune 3 on it. Wow. But then, as I was looking through this chest, I couldn't believe it. I was ambushed by these piglins. This was not good. Oh no. But even worse, I was hit by this piglin brute. So I panicked and made a run for it. I had to leave the bastion as soon as possible. So I did. Well, our journey continued through the nether, and I was able to find myself this other bastion. But even better, I could see there was some nether warts and some soul sand. This was great, I would need this for potions, so I gathered up all the nether warts that I could. But even better, as I was out and about, there it was, a nether fortress. But as you can see, it's quite far away, and there's a lot of lava here. But luckily for me, I'm a furnace golem, and I don't take damage from any fire or lava, so I jumped into the lava and swam across the lava lake. And finally, after a bit of time, I entered the fortress, finding myself this chest, and I could see there was this diamond. Hey, I also stumbled across some more nether wart. So I thought, why not? You can never have too many nether warts, but you can't make potions without blaze rods. So I decided to take down a few blazes. And yep, that should do it. On my way home, I stumbled across some glowstone, and I'll need this for my potions. But then, as I got back home, I looked around and I couldn't believe my very own eyes. I could see there was this Vindicator. But then the Vindicator turned around and he spotted me. And he started running for it. I tried to chase after the Vindicator, but he was way too fast. And he was able to get away. I couldn't keep up. Oh well. And let's hope the Vindicator doesn't come back. I'm gonna have to keep my eye out. Anyways, to round up the day, I decided to go and get myself some potatoes. I used some of that bone meal that I collected from the nether to get myself loads more potatoes. But I think it's about time we build our very own home, and here looks perfect. So I got to work on building my very own home. Placed in a few stone bricks, and of course, some birch wood, which actually looks pretty nice. Yes, I can't forget about the roof. So I used some stone bricks and also decided to use some dark oak stairs as well. But there was one thing I was missing. I was missing some leaves. So I placed a few around, and yep, that definitely looks better. And here it is. It looks pretty good if I do say so myself. As you can see, I added some leaves around, some fences, also a few lanterns. And yeah, I really like the design of this build, and I think it looks pretty nice. And if we head indoors, as you can see, I added a crafting table around, some furnaces, and of course some storage. But that's not all. Oh no. I also planted in this tree, but as I looked to my right, I couldn't believe it. There it was. More pillagers. I knew what had to be done, so I travelled over there and took down these pillagers. I wonder why there's so many pillagers. Anyways, I headed back to the nether and wanted to get myself some ender pearls. So I took down this enderman right here, and I was able to get myself some ender pearls. You might be asking, why do I need ender pearls? And the thing is, I wanted to find the stronghold. So I made an eye of ender, and it is now time to go and find the stronghold. Finally, after days and days of searching, there it was. So I happily made myself a way in right here, and there it was, a library. Just what I was looking for. And also, there was this chest, and I could see there was a sharpness 3 book. Now, I'll be sure to take this. But even better than a sharpness 3 book, I was able to find myself the end portal. And there it was, the end portal. Wow. So I finally get home and craft a bunch of bookshelves, and then I decided to go and craft the enchantment table. And there it is. Wow, the enchantment table. But of course, we would need a place for this enchantment table, and I thought, why not turn my old home into an enchantment room? It would be perfect. So I got to work and used a variety of different blocks. I decided to use some oak wood and of course some oak stairs, and I have to say, it looks pretty good. Anyways, it's time to place in the enchantment table. But before we do any enchanting, take a look at our armor. Yeah, no good. I think it's time we get ourselves a full set of diamond armor. So I headed to the caves, and you wouldn't believe it. There it was, diamonds. This was great, so I gathered up all the diamonds that I could, and I have to say, with that fortune-free pickaxe, really made it a lot more easier to get all these diamonds. And yep, that should do it. That should be plenty of diamonds. It's time to go home. So I arrive home and make a full set of diamond armor, like a chestplate, leggings, helmets, and of course, some shiny boots. And also I had enough diamonds to craft myself a diamond hammer. Just what I needed. And there it was, the diamond hammer. So I headed outside the quick as I could to go and enchant this hammer, and I could see there was fortune free. So I decided to go with that. Also enchanted my chestplate and of course my leggings, but sadly I kind of ran out of levels. So I went back to Nether and went to go and get myself loads more. Alright, that should be plenty of levels. It is now time to go home and enchant all my armor. Starting off, I enchanted my boots, get myself protection 4, enchanted my sword, get myself looting 3 and sharpness 4, and then I enchanted the rest of my armor, get myself some pretty decent stuff. And there it is, we now got a full set of enchanted diamond armor and tools. Anyways, later on that day, I decided to go and craft myself a spyglass. I would need this. So I went to go and test if it worked, and it did. Ah yes, later on I decided to go back to the village and I want to get myself now a mending book. So I used this bell right here to tell the villagers to go back to their homes, and I decided to trap up 2 villagers right here and make a bit of a farm. I thought this would be the easiest way to get myself a mending book. So I placed down some lectures right here, and after a bit of trying, I was able to get myself this villager right here with an unbreaking free book. This was great, but even better, there it was, a mending book. Just what I needed. But we had a slight problem. I didn't have enough emeralds, you see. So I thought, why not make my very own potato farm? So I cleared out a massive space, removing all the dirt and stone that was in the way, and then decided to use some nice birch oak wood, flattened up all the ground, and of course, I planted in some potatoes. Then as I was planting some potatoes in, I heard this noise, and I wasn't too sure what it was. Anyways, I went AFK for a couple days to grow up all the potatoes, and as I came back to the potato farm, there it was. All the potatoes have grown up. So I harvested up all the potatoes that I could. Yep, that's a lot of potatoes. So I went back to the village to go and trade with some of the villagers, get myself loads of emeralds. And finally, I was able to get myself enough emeralds, so I went back to the villagers, get myself a unbreaking book, and of course I decided to get myself 2 mending books as well. And then I went home and put a mending and unbreaking free book on my diamond hammer, so now it would pretty much never break. Well, I think it's now time we start work on the village. Here looks perfect. So, I got to work on building a house right here. A pretty simple house if I do say so myself. Added some oak logs around and of course some stone bricks. Gave it some windows of course. What's a house without windows? I'm not too sure. Placed on a door and added some lanterns. And that's house 1 pretty much done. It is now time to work on house 2. House 2, I wanted to use a little bit of a different design. I wanted this place to be a lot bigger so it could fit more villagers. So I used some oak wood, loads of stone bricks, did a bit of interior work, added some stone bricks, some lanterns, and of course some glass windows as well. Placed in a few leaves, and of course a load of beds as well so the villagers could sleep. And yeah, that's house 2 pretty much done. And I'm gonna have to say, it looks pretty good if I do say so myself. We've got house 1 over here, and of course house 2. But we're missing something. We need some villagers. So I decided to make a villager farm. So I used some white concrete, and for the roof I placed in a bunch of glass, made the villagers their very own farm so they could do their own farming. Nothing special really, but it will do for now. And yeah, I'm really happy how this place turned out. I really like all the white concrete, the stone bricks, and of course some lanterns and some dark oak wood as well. And now we need to go and get ourselves some villagers. So I happily travelled to the village and placed down a few minecarts and gathered up some villagers. I could tell the villagers weren't quite happy, so I decided to give them some potatoes, and they was a lot happier after that. The next day, I noticed that there was this wandering trader. So I went to go and see what trades he had, and he traded his pufferfish. So I thought, why not get myself a pufferfish so I could keep him as my very own pet. But of course, with pet pufferfish, we need a place to live. So by the next day, here it is. Looks pretty awesome if I do say so myself. And I could tell my pet pufferfish was very happy. Well, I think it's now time we go on a bit of an adventure. So I headed across the lands and found this village. So I approached this village and I could see there was loads of hay here. This was great. So I gathered up all the hay that I could and I wanted to trade with some of the villagers to get myself some emeralds. And luckily, there was this farmer and he traded wheat, which was great. So I got myself a few emeralds and decided to turn my emerald into a block. Anyways, my journey continues across the lands, and off in the distance I could see that there was a tiger biome. This was great, so I thought why not go and explore it to see what I could find. Anyways, I wandered around the forest a bit and noticed that there was this camp. I was very intrigued, so I went to go and investigate, and I noticed that they had their own nether portal right here, and also a house and a potato farm. But then, as I turned around, I could see that there was this wandering trader. So I approached this mysterious wandering trader and asked him if he traded any moss blocks. I was looking for some moss blocks. He told me he'd go and have a look. So once I was waiting, I thought why not go around and see what I can find. I could see there was a few llamas right here, which was quite nice. But then I went to go and check out the potato farm, and as I turned around, there he was, wandering trader. And he told me that he had a few moss blocks, but he wanted some emeralds for them. Luckily for me, I had a few emeralds, so I gave him 3 emeralds and also an emerald block. And then he gave me 10 moss blocks. And he also decided to give me a gift, and I could see it was an emerald hammer. Very nice. But sadly, it wasn't as good as my diamond one, but it was a nice gift. Anyways, I said my final goodbyes and I headed out and continue exploring. Anyways, I continue exploring and I found this flower biome, which was quite nice, but even better, off in the distance I could see that there was this jungle. So I headed over there and collected some melons, also found a bit of bamboo, so I decided to go and collect that as well. But even better, I stumbled across a jungle temple. I was super excited, so I headed over there the quickest I could and entered the jungle temple. But sadly, there wasn't really anything good, just a few bits of gold. Oh well. So instead, I collected some cocoa beans. I'll need these to make some biscuits later. Anyways, my journey continues across the seas, and I noticed that there was this fish, and I wanted to keep this fish as my very own pet. So I got my bucket right here and collected a fish, and there it is, we now got a new friend. There was also this shipwreck nearby as well, so I checked that out and found a buried treasure map. I think it's time to go and find ourselves some treasure. And the treasure should be just here. My guess is under this sand block. So I happily broke this sand block right here, and there it was, the buried treasure. Very nice. Hey, also I stumbled across a mushroom biome, which is quite nice. So I travelled over there and went around exploring, but sadly, there wasn't really any mushroom cows. But I did find one, so I said hello to the mushroom cow. Anyways, I think that was a nice little adventure. I think it's time we go back home. Well, I finally arrived home and it's now time to place in the fish. But then, as I turned to my left, I couldn't believe my very own eyes. The entire village has been set on fire. This was really bad. So I rushed over there the quickest I could, and as I got over to the village, there it was, a raid. I knew it. The pillagers have come back and destroyed the entire village. I mean, just look at this place, it's been set on fire. But then I noticed that the iron golem was taking down these pillagers. I had to help him, so I rushed over there the quickest I could and started taking down these pillagers. But that wasn't all the pillagers. Oh no. There was loads more. But if it couldn't get any worse, there it was, a Ravager, the Illager's most powerful mob. But luckily for me, I was a furnace golem, and I was easily able to take him out. But that didn't stop the pillagers. Oh no, there was loads more. But then finally, after a long battle, I was able to take down the last Illager, and there it is, hero of the village. Wow. I mean, just look at this place, it's been destroyed, the entire village has been burned down. I wonder why the pillagers would do this. I will get my revenge. It is now time to get our revenge. So I headed back to my villager farm and decided to get myself a Woodland Mansion map. It is now time to find ourselves this Woodland Mansion. So I headed out across the lands, searching for this Woodland Mansion. And then, finally, there it was, the Woodland Mansion. If the pillagers are gonna burn down my village, I'm gonna burn down their mansion. And here it is. The entire mansion has been burnt to the ground. Now this to show the pillagers, yeah, not to mess with me. Anyways, it's time to go back home. So I finally arrived back home and the first thing I noticed that my roof has been destroyed. Great. So I happily repaired my roof and then I had a good look at my armor. After that pillager raid, my armor was destroyed pretty badly and we would need a brand new set. So I went back to the caves and I went on another mining trip, finding myself loads more diamonds. Okay, that should do it. That should be plenty of diamonds. So I went home and made a brand new set of diamond armor. And then I went to go and enchant it. Get myself some pretty nice enchants. But there was one more thing I wanted to do. I wanted to turn my diamond armor into netherite. So I headed back to the nether and went to go and find myself some ancient debris. Do it. That should be plenty of ancient debris. But before I go home, I wanted to find myself another bastion. I kind of needed some more gold. And luckily, I was able to find myself loads, which was great. And also, I wanted to go to the nearby fortress, get myself some more blaze rods. I kind of needed some blaze rods, and I also needed some ender pearls. So I headed to the warped forest as well. And that should do it. I think it's time we head back home. So I safely travel home and smelt up all my ancient debris. And I also thought why not combine my old armor with my new armor to make ultimate armor. So that's what I did. Ah yes, all my ancient debris has been smelted up. Very nice. So I happily turned all my diamond armor into netherite. And also I turned my tools into netherite as well, including my diamond hammer. And there it is, we now got a full set of netherite armor and tools. Very nice. Wow. It is now time. It is now time to take down the Ender Dragon. So I gathered everything I needed from my chest, all the stuff I would need for this fight. And before I left, I made sure to say goodbye to all my pets. This might be the last time I would see them. And then, there it was, the end portal. So I placed in all the Eyes of Ender, and the portal opened. Wow, but I was now ready, so I didn't hesitate and I jumped through the portal. And then, there she was, the Ender Dragon. I knew what had to be done. I had to take down all the end crystals as soon as possible. So that's what I did, and I could tell the Ender Dragon was not happy whatsoever. Oh no. And there it is, all the end crystals have been destroyed. It's now time to take down this beast. This is it. It is now time to end this fight once and for all. So I waited for the right opportunity and I struck, taking down the Ender Dragon. And there it is. The Ender Dragon has been defeated. Wow. This was great. So I gathered up all the XP that was here. And I have to say, there was a lot of XP, which was great. And of course, I couldn't forget about the Ender Egg. So I made sure to gather up that as well. And here it is, we did it. Wow, just look at this place. It looks insane. Anyways, it is now time to go back home. So I safely make it home, and now what I wanted to do was to make a place for the Ender Egg. finally, on day 100, here it is. Wow. Anyways, it's time to place in the ender egg. And there it is. Wow. We did it. We finally survived 100 days as a furnace golem in hardcore Minecraft. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.